You felt it. That moment you look up, and there it is. She's staring. Not quick eye contact, not a polite glance, a stare. And you're left wondering, what is this? Is there something on my face? Do I look familiar? Or is she secretly plotting my death? Here's the frustrating part. She's not going to tell you. She's not going to walk up and say, "Hey, I've been staring because I find you incredibly attractive." That's not how the game works. In fact, most of the time, the more attracted she is, the less likely she is to verbalize it. Why? Because unlike men who, let's be honest, will say you're gorgeous 5 minutes after meeting you, women tend to observe first, act later. According to research published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior, prolonged eye contact and repeated glances are one of the top subconscious signals of attraction in women, but they rarely follow it with direct verbal confirmation. It's a test, a gauge, a way to read you before risking anything. So when she stares without saying a word, she's not just looking at you. She's running data, physical scan, your build, posture, and the way you move, micro-expressions, your resting face, the way your eyes track the room, aura check, your energy, your comfort level, your awareness of yourself, status cues, clothing, grooming, subtle signs of confidence. All of this happens in seconds. And the kicker? She might not even be consciously aware she's doing it. From an evolutionary standpoint, women have always had to assess quietly. Back in the day, walking up to the wrong man could get you shamed, hurt, or worse. So attraction signaling had to be subtle, lingering glances, strategic proximity, body orientation, the kind of stuff only the right man would notice. Which means, if you're catching her staring, you've already passed some level of her unspoken criteria. Now, before you get carried away, not every stare means she's into you. Sometimes she's curious. Sometimes you look like her ex. Sometimes she's zoning out, and you just happen to be in the line of fire. But here's the part most guys miss. When she keeps looking, over and over, without a social reason to do so, that's not random. That's deliberate. That's instinct. That's attraction testing you. But here's where it gets tricky. Most men kill it before it starts. Instead of holding the moment and letting her curiosity build, they either 1. Look away too quickly and act like nothing happened. Missed opportunity. 2. Overreact with an awkward smile or forced hey from across the room. Instant pressure. Or worst, start adjusting their hair, shirt or posture like they're prepping for a photo shoot. Signal of insecurity. The men who win in these situations? They don't rush. They don't break character. They simply exist in the stare. A calm glance back. A micro smile that says, "Yeah, I see you." Then they return to whatever they were doing without breaking the rhythm. Why does this work? Because it flips the frame. Instead of scrambling to impress, you let her sit in the mystery of who you are, and that mystery is jet fuel for attraction. So if you've ever been caught in the silent stare game, and you've been wondering why she didn't say anything, the answer might not be that she wasn't interested. It might be that she was hoping you'd be the kind of man who could pick up the signal without needing it spelled out. And trust me, if you can master that skill, you'll start seeing those stares very differently. Stay with me, because in the next part we're going to break down exactly why women stare in silence, what's going through their heads in those moments, and the mistakes most men make that kill the attraction before it even starts. Let's be honest. Few things mess with a man's head like getting stared at by a woman, especially when she says nothing. Because your brain instantly starts running scenarios. Is my zipper down? Do I have food on my face? Wait, do I know her from somewhere? Oh no, she's looking, because I look like that guy from the wanted posters. And in the time it takes you to overthink it, the moment's gone. She's looked away, your heart rate's up, and you're left with that itch of what the hell was that about? Here's the problem. Men don't get trained for this. We're taught to notice obvious signs of interest. A smile, a wave, a hey, what's your name? We're not taught how to read the silent, subtle stuff. The stuff women are much better at sending than men are at receiving. So when it happens, we either ignore it completely because we assume it's nothing, overreact and come in too strong, too soon, second guess ourselves into oblivion, until we've killed the vibe with awkwardness. And here's where it gets even more frustrating. Sometimes it's not in your head. Sometimes she's absolutely into you. She's just not going to make the first move. Not because she's shy, not because she's playing hard to get, but because, biologically and socially, women are wired to assess before they approach. A study from the archives of sexual behavior found that women often send indirect cues of attraction, rather than verbal declarations, especially when they perceive a man as higher value or dominant. Why? Because it lowers the risk of rejection, while still giving you a chance to act. Translation? If she's staring repeatedly, over different moments, it's not random, she's watching. But here's the cruel part. She's not watching to be polite. She's not even necessarily watching to check you out in the way men check out women. She's scanning. She's reading your body language, micro-expressions, and energy in real time. She's figuring out, do you notice her without looking desperate? Do you carry yourself like you're used to being observed? Do you project calm, or do you crumble under attention? And here's what most guys get wrong. They think attraction is earned by doing something flashy in that moment. It's not. In fact, the quickest way to ruin silent attraction is to perform for it. The second you start puffing your chest, adjusting your shirt, or trying to look cool, you've shifted from authentic to auditioning. And nothing kills curiosity faster than a man who starts auditioning. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fear of misreading the stare. Every man's been there. You think she's been looking at you. You finally build the courage to say something, and it turns out she was actually staring at the menu behind you. Yeah, that humiliation burns. So you play it safe. You tell yourself, don't be that guy. Just ignore it. If she likes me, she'll come over. Spoiler, she won't. Not because she's not interested, but because in her mind, she already made the first move with the stare. And you missed it. It's like she sent you a text saying, hey, and you just didn't reply. Here's the reality. Women stare for 3 main reasons. Attraction. She finds you physically, energetically, or stylistically compelling. Curiosity. Something about you stands out, and she's trying to place it. Assessment. She's deciding whether engaging with you would be a good move. And here's the kicker. All 3 can be happening at once. You could be the guy who just walked into the cafe, and she's thinking, attractive, but is he aware of it? Confident, but is he arrogant? Interesting, but is he safe? This is why so many men fail in these moments. They think they need to convince her instead of simply holding their ground and letting her curiosity do the work. Because in silent attraction, the less you do, the more powerful you look. If she's staring, you've already passed the first test. The next move isn't to rush. It's to stay calm, hold presence, and let her feel the weight of being the one doing the watching. And trust me, if you can master that, you stop being the guy she looked at once and start being the guy she couldn't stop thinking about. Let's clear something up. When a woman stares, it's not random, and it's not just being polite. If it was nothing, it would be a glance, quick, forgettable. A stare means she's holding her attention on you, and attention is currency. And here's the truth most men don't realize. That stare, it's her first move. Yeah. Forget what you've been told about women waiting for a man to approach. In reality, the stare is the approach. It's just done in a way that gives her cover if you don't respond. Think of it like this. If she walks up to you, starts chatting, and you're not interested, that's awkward, maybe even embarrassing. But if she stares and you don't engage, she can just act like she wasn't staring at all. No risk, no loss. Clean exit. That's why so many women operate in the silent lane first. In fact, a 2016 study published in Human Nature found that women rated extended eye contact as one of the most effective non-verbal signals of attraction because it leaves plausible deniability. So while you're sitting there thinking, if she liked me, she'd say something, she's literally saying something just without words. Now here's where it gets interesting. When a woman stares, it's not always pure, wow, he's hot. It can be 3 overlapping layers. 1. The physical check. This is the obvious one. She's scanning. Face symmetry? Body shape? Grooming? Does he look like he takes care of himself? Is his style intentional or accidental? This isn't vanity, it's biology. Evolutionary psychology tells us that women, just like men, assess potential mates on visual cues of health and vitality. You might not have a six-pack, but if you've got strong shoulders, clean grooming, and good posture, that's a green flag. 2. The energy scan. Here's where most men get blindsided. A woman can look at two equally good-looking guys and be drawn to one over the other, purely based on energy. She's asking herself, does he look tense or comfortable in his own skin? Is he aware of the room without being distracted by it? Does he seem like he needs attention? Or like he's fine either way? In a 2018 Evolutionary Behavioral Sciences survey, women ranked calm confidence higher than facial symmetry in long-term attraction. Translation: your vibe matters more than your bone structure. 3. The subconscious challenge. This one's sneaky. Sometimes she's not staring to admire you, she's staring to test you. Can you hold eye contact without cracking? Can you stay composed when someone's locked in on you? Do you break the moment, look away, or overcompensate with a weird smile? If you flinch, she reads it as a sign you're not used to being observed. And yes, that's a subtle ding to perceived status. That's why some men can walk into a bar, get looked at all night, and still go home thinking nobody noticed me. They were noticed. They just didn't pass the silent test. Here's the kicker. Most of this happens in her subconscious. She might not even be able to tell you why she kept looking. She just knows something about you pulled focus. Could be your height in the crowd. Could be the way your shirt fits your shoulders. Could be that you're the only guy in the room not nervously scrolling through his phone. Could be your resting face, which, by the way, is another weapon men underestimate. Yes, that slightly serious, calm expression you have when you're not trying to look good is often way more attractive than any big smile you've forced for photos. The point is, when she stares without saying a word, it's rarely meaningless. It's instinct, curiosity, and strategy, all rolled into one. And here's the part that flips the script. You've been thinking she's holding the power because she's doing the staring. But in reality, she's waiting to see if you're the kind of man who notices without needing to be fed the information. Because in her mind, if you can read her subtle signal now, you can probably read her in other ways later, and that's attractive on a deeper primal level. So the next time you catch her eyes locked on you, don't panic. Don't rush. Don't make it weird. Hold her gaze for a beat. Give a small, knowing look. Then go back to whatever you were doing. That tiny move tells her, you saw her. You're not desperate. You're comfortable being observed, and if she wants to keep watching, you'll allow it. That's presence, and that's what makes the stare game addictive. Here's the mindset shift most men never make. When a woman stares at you, she's the one breaking the social rule. You're not the one lucky to be noticed. She's the one stepping out of passive observation into active focus. Think about it. How often do you lock eyes with a stranger and hold it? Almost never. It's too intimate, too telling. That's why we look away when we get caught staring. It's a little vulnerable. So when she keeps watching you, she's already invested something most people guard her attention. And attention is scarce. Once you start seeing it like this, the power dynamic shifts completely. You stop thinking, why is she looking at me? You start thinking, what's she trying to figure out about me? And here's the kicker. She doesn't want you to flinch under it. She doesn't want you to get giddy and trip over yourself. She wants to see if you can carry the moment without spilling it, because that tells her more than words ever could. Men who know versus men who hope. You can spot the difference instantly. The man who hopes he's attractive gets stared at and starts fixing his shirt, touching his hair, or changing his facial expression like he's auditioning for a toothpaste ad. He's still in please like me mode. The man who knows he's attractive? He doesn't perform, he doesn't oversmile, he doesn't scramble for a reason to go talk to her just to prove he can. He simply stays present. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. Certainty says, I'm used to being looked at. You're not throwing me off my rhythm. And that certainty changes everything. Because women aren't just attracted to how you look. They're attracted to how you carry being looked at. Why holding presence wins. Presence communicates three things women find magnetic. Magnetic. If you can hold your own in a small, charged moment like eye contact, she imagines you can hold yourself in bigger, more intense situations. Social value. People who are comfortable being observed without reacting are usually people who've been in that position before. Mystery. The less you break your frame to react, the more she has to guess what you're thinking. Mystery is the gasoline of attraction. It keeps her engaged because she hasn't solved you yet. Flip the mental script. Next time it happens, don't think, oh no, what do I do? Think, I see you seeing me, and I'm curious how long you can hold it. That subtle reframe flips you from reactive to proactive. You're not scrambling to decode her. You're watching her play her own game. It also prevents the biggest killer of these moments, over-pursuit. Because here's a brutal truth. The second you treat her stare like a green light to sprint over and win her approval, you've flipped the polarity. You've gone from mystery to fan. Instead, let the tension breathe. If the opportunity to engage naturally opens up, cool. But let it be on your timeline, not because you felt pressured by the weight of the moment. The unspoken leader effect. Here's the fun part. Once you start holding presence when you're stared at, people around you notice not just her. This is called social referencing in psychology. Humans subconsciously watch how others are treated and how they respond. If you're being looked at and you stay grounded, others in the room assume you're someone of value. That assumption spreads faster than you realize. It's how one woman's silent curiosity can ripple into other people suddenly seeing you as more magnetic, without you having done a thing. Owning the frame without force. The key here is subtle dominance, not force. Dominance in this context doesn't mean trying to intimidate her with an aggressive glare. It's about showing that her attention doesn't throw you off balance. Keep your posture open. Match her gaze briefly, then break it first, not because you lost, but because you decided to. Resume whatever you were doing, like her interest is just one more thing in your world, not your entire world. That's what makes her keep watching. You didn't give her the full story, so now she's hooked. Once you internalize this, you stop seeing stares as random or intimidating. You start seeing them as quiet acknowledgements that you've already passed the first test without having to say a single word. And when you hold that energy long enough, something interesting happens. You stop needing the stares at all. They become background noise. Just confirmation that you're showing up as a man who gets noticed without asking. So you've caught her looking. Now what? This is where most guys either overplay their hand or fold too early. Remember, the point is not to win in the next 5 seconds. The point is to handle the moment in a way that keeps the frame in your favor. Here's how you do it. 1. Master the 2-second rule. When you catch her looking, don't snap your head away like you've been caught stealing. Hold the gaze for about 2 seconds, long enough to acknowledge, short enough to keep mystery. 2 seconds communicates. I see you. I'm not afraid of being seen, but I've got things to do. It's confident without being invasive. 2. Use the micro smirk. A big grin can look try-hard. A dead stare can look aggressive. The sweet spot? A micro smirk, the faintest lift of one side of your mouth. It says, I'm amused. You don't know why. And I'm not telling you yet. A 2011 study in evolutionary psychology found that subtle, asymmetric expressions in men were rated as more attractive than forced symmetrical smiles, likely because they read as genuine and self-assured. 3. Go back to what you were doing. After the 2 seconds, break the gaze on your terms and return to whatever you were doing, sipping coffee, scrolling slowly, not frantically, talking to your friend. The subtext? This is just another normal Tuesday for me. Women are drawn to men who can acknowledge attraction without becoming consumed by it. 4. Control your hands and posture. Your hands and posture give you away more than your eyes. No fidgeting. No nervous shirt adjusting. No neck rubbing like you just got called to the principal's office. Keep your movements slow and intentional. If you adjust your jacket or take a sip, do it like you've got nowhere to be. 5. Avoid the over-pursuit trap. This is where guys kill it. And they take one look as a green light for instant approach, charging over with nervous energy, cheesy lines, or, hey, I saw you looking at me, instant frame killer. If you're going to engage, let it happen naturally. She passes near you, you make situational small talk. You exchange a dry, confident line that opens the door without forcing it. Think, if she asks, is that seat taken? Say it is now, delivered with a calm half-smile. Then let it breathe. 6. Understand the power of ignoring. Strategically. If you've caught her looking more than once, sometimes the most attractive move is to not meet her eyes the next time, at least not immediately. Why? Because anticipation builds intrigue. Humans are wired to notice what notices them back. When you hold off, she starts wondering, did he see me? Did I misread it? Why isn't he looking now? That's when she'll often double down. More glances, more subtle positioning near you, more obvious signals. Read the room. Read the room. Not every stare means come talk to me. This is where calibration matters. If she's with friends and looks comfortable, potential green light. If she's deep in work, tense, or looks away fast every time, probably curiosity or zoning out, not interest. Being able to tell the difference is part of what makes you look socially intelligent. 8. Let her wonder. Your goal in these moments is not to be instantly memorable. It's to be unresolved. If she walks away thinking, "Who was that guy?" instead of "That guy came on too strong," you've won. Leave a little unanswered. Let the stare be a chapter, not the whole book. 9. Always play the long game. Not every interaction has to be closed on the spot. You might see her again. You might cross paths later in the day. If you handle the first stare moment with calm presence, she's more likely to warm up naturally over time. And here's the beauty. Even if nothing happens, you've trained yourself to hold composure under observation. That skill alone changes how the world sees you. Why this works? These steps flip the frame. Instead of you chasing her attention, you're managing it. Instead of reacting to her, you're responding with intention. Instead of proving yourself, you're showing her that her curiosity doesn't shake you. That's rare. That's magnetic. That's why the stare game, when handled right, can be one of the most quietly powerful attraction tools you'll ever have. Let's rewind. When we started this conversation, you probably thought a woman staring at you was just an accident, a coincidence, a glitch in the matrix. Now you know better. That moment, that's not nothing. It's not just being polite. It's not "she must be looking past me." It's deliberate. It's instinct. It's assessment. And sometimes, it's her first move. The stare is the opening scene of a movie. What happens next is on you. You can either break it instantly, look away, and pretend it didn't happen, or lock in for a beat, keep your cool, and let her feel what it's like to be the one wondering. Because that's the shift. You're not here to win her in 5 seconds. You're here to let her sit in the curiosity. She started. The men who understand this don't panic. They don't overthink. They don't sprint across the room like they've just been called off the bench. They stay present. They keep their rhythm. They know that someone staring at them is not a reason to speed up, it's a reason to slow down. And here's why this is so powerful. In most interactions, women hold the power early. They decide who they give signals to. But when you receive that signal and don't hand the frame right back by trying to perform for it, you flip the polarity. You go from guy who got noticed to guy she's still trying to figure out. That's leverage. And once you see it like that, you'll never unsee it. The next time a woman stares at you, it won't feel like a surprise. It'll feel like confirmation. Confirmation that you're showing up in a way that makes people take notice. Confirmation that you're carrying yourself with enough presence to pull focus without saying a word. Confirmation that yes, you're attractive, not because of one lucky moment, but because of how you live. And when you carry that mindset, something changes. Your walk changes. Your posture changes. Your resting face changes. You stop leaking insecurity with every glance you return. You stop looking for permission to be confident. You just are. Because at the end of the day, the real reason women stare at you is simple. They've picked up on something. Your build, your vibe, your calmness, your mystery that makes them want to know more. The rest? That's up to you. So here's your mission. But the next time it happens, you don't look away like you got caught doing something wrong. You don't oversmile like a kid who just got extra dessert. You don't freeze like you just got called into HR. You give her that 2-second look. You let the corner of your mouth pull into the faintest smirk. And then you go right back to your life like you've been here before. Because you have. That's how you make the stare hers to think about later. That's how you turn a passing moment into something she replays in her mind. So stop shrinking under the weight of being noticed. Start treating it like the normal outcome of being a man worth looking at. Because the truth is, she's not staring for no reason. She's staring because in that moment, something about you pulled her focus away from everything else. And that's not luck. That's the byproduct of presence, of self-awareness, of a man who's comfortable enough in himself to let someone else do the looking. So the next time it happens, don't overthink it. Don't break it too soon. Don't ruin the mystery. Let her look. Let her wonder. Let her keep guessing. Because in that silence, you're already winning.